Hey everyone, Spicy Toast Gaming here, and it's finally out. We have the patch, and let's just go through it. So first up, let's talk briefly about the new champions. We do have all of the new champions here added to the game. That is very nice. We will touch on them more in a moment, but also let's talk about Vault Dupe Protection. So based on the feedback we've received from Path of Champion player base, we've implemented the following change. We've now implemented duplicate protection on gold and platinum cosmic vaults to ensure that players don't receive champion fragments that they've already maxed out. Now this is going to be very nice, especially for new players where all of your vaults you're getting from all your quests and rewards are normally those gold or platinum. So this will really help you unlock more champion fragments and not keep getting duplications. So that will be very good. I also looked through the bug fixes and I didn't see anything for some of the issues we addressed, such as Gale Force or the Chemtech duplicator that got deleted from the last event pass. So little sad there. Let's go take a look at the new champions though. They actually have a nice little graphic here showing what cards are going to be in their deck and their star powers. So let's start with Nidalee. So for the first star power, Survival of the Fittest, when an ally transforms, granted 1/1 and impact. Decent first star power, giving it some extra stats, and impact is always good for doing some extra damage to the Nexus. Second star power, Most Dangerous Game. +1 starting mana, when you gain the attack token, create a Clever Camouflage in hand. So if we take a look at that up here, pick a allied follower, pick one of 3 random followers that cost 2 more to transform it into. So essentially every time we get the attack token, we're able to change one of our units into another unit that costs 2 more. That will count as a transform, therefore buffing them up from our other star power. Really interesting. For the 3-star, so when an ally transforms, granted 1/1 and impact, that's the same. If it's the first time this round, summon an exact ephemeral copy of it. That is very interesting and should be quite a lot of fun. One of the best things about LeBlanc is her second star power where you're summoning an ephemeral copy. There's so many interesting ways you can use and abuse that mechanic, and this gives you the freedom to choose exactly who it's going to be. And says when an ally transforms, so this could be a follower or a champion. There'll be a lot of very interesting ways we can use that. All right, let's take a brief look at the units. We'll dive deeper into this tomorrow when the patch comes out. So we have a Bristlehog, All-Terrain Trooper, Bushwhack Trap, Aurora Holonatus, Merciless Hunter, Desert Duel, Bruiser, and Towering Paraphant. So 3 of these are cards we've already seen before. Always a little bit disappointing when we see that, but in general, a lot of these other cards are in Nidalee's support package, so great that we're seeing a bunch of new cards. Again, we'll go deeper into all of these, including what upgrades they get in the video tomorrow, but overall, Nidalee looks quite interesting. Next, let's take a look at Nico, apparently is how it's pronounced. I like saying Neko as in Neko the Gecko, but I'll try to remember to say Nico. So first star power, Harmony of the Wild. Each round, the first ally you play with a different subtype than other allies cost 1 less. So as long as you keep playing different units that have different subtypes, they're going to keep costing less, so that is decent. The 2-star, game start for each ally in your deck if it has a subtype, granted impact. Otherwise, it becomes a shapeshifter. So that is interesting. I'm guessing that is the same mechanic that Nico has, where when you play her, she's able to transform into another unit. So if you have any units in your deck that don't have a subtype, they then will just transform into a different unit when you play them. That will be very interesting. That will really change up the game when you're adding other cards into your deck. For the 3-star, each round, the first ally you play with a different subtype than other allies costs 2 less. So here's their infographic. Shapeshifter, this is her champion spell. So they're really going with this impact for both this deck and the other deck. Impact is actually a pretty strong keyword without being ridiculous like elusive. If we take a look at her cards, it looks like all of these are actually new cards that have been added either this patch, or I think Grave Companion was last patch potentially. And I think Frostcoat Cub was 1 or 2 patches ago. But great that we're seeing all new cards that have never been in Path of Champions. Again, we'll look more into these all tomorrow, but seems like an interesting champion, especially with that 2-star making your units shapeshifters. This could potentially really change up how you play when you're getting rewards for other random cards that don't have subtypes. So this could be very interesting. And then last up, we have the Poro King. So the first star power, Stronger Together. Round start, if allies have 4 or more unique keywords, grant allies 1/1. So interesting scaling mechanic. Again, trying to make sure you have as many different Poros as possible, because normally every different type of Poro has its own unique keyword. So that is pretty strong. The second star power for the king, round end. If an ally died this round, grant your weakest ally 1/1 and a random keyword that allies don't have. That is really interesting and definitely plays into the other star power. Normally in these Poro decks, you're having units die because you're always blocking for them, or you're always having units block, and normally Poros are pretty disposable. Getting even more scaling and random keywords really seems like almost a better version of Kaisa. Then we have the 3-star, if allies have 4 more unique keywords, grant all allies 2/2. So some pretty simple star powers, but at the same time, crazy scaling. This will be very interesting to play out. If we take a look at their infographic, so we have Lonely Poro, Pouty Poro, Poro Stories, that's good. The Chemtech Catamobile, Poro Snacks, Professor Von Yip, that'll be very strong, that buffs up all your 1/1. Poro Nip, which we see over here. Allied Poro strikes an enemy, so 4 cost fast. It's a little expensive for just a strike relic. Oh, there's an allied Poro, so how many Poros does that mean? Does that mean all of your Poros strike an enemy? Because if so, that could be pretty crazy, and I guess that's why it's 4 cost. That is interesting. Then we also have Heart of the Fluffit. That is going to be crazy. This is going to be like your game-ending card. So pretty good deck, actually, so far. Again, we'll go into it more later. I'm also liking how they're adding seemingly unique cards for Path of Champions again. They haven't really done this for a very long time. But here we see the Poro Nip, Clever Camouflage for Nidalee. Also seems to be a unique card just for Path of Champions. So really awesome that they're trying this again. Great that we're getting all 3 of the champions into the game, into Path of Champions. I know some people are disappointed we're only going to get 3. But for me, I'm just happy that we're getting the 3 new ones in the game. They all seem like very unique, interesting units to play, and I can't wait to play them. Also, like we touched on earlier, they're actually finally adding some duplicate protection. Not going crazy with it, but I'm glad they are just doing something. And then we also have a new event. So there's some emotes you can get, some interesting card backs, and then champion shards for the 3 new champions. I will break this down when the patch drops tomorrow, letting you know exactly how many shards you're going to be getting. If we now take a look and finish up with some bug fixes, we see Ornn is now being able to equip units when their hand is full. They couldn't do that before, or there was an issue. Some small bug fixes with monthly challenges. And also they finally fixed the Voidborn Carapace issue, where used to you could have multiple stacks of this, which is pretty much useless. So they are getting rid of that. Hopefully they're going to give us some shards for the duplicates that we potentially have, because I think I have 3 copies of the Voidborn Carapace myself. And then there was an issue where some players couldn't get access to the monthly challenges. And that's about it for the bug fixes for Path of Champions. Again, sadly they didn't address Gale Force and the fact that people can't get it. Maybe they'll add it into the event, but if we take a look at the event, the only thing for Path of Champions we see on here is shards or fragments. So maybe there are some relics we're going to get. They just decided it wasn't important enough to put on here. We'll have to see. I'll let you know tomorrow as soon as the patch drops. But yeah, they didn't mention Gale Force. They also didn't mention the fact that for the last event pass, one of the relics, that being Chemtech Duplicator, got deleted when most people tried to claim it. So sad that we didn't see that here. Really happy though that at least we got the new champions, and they all look like they're going to be quite fun to play. Definitely comment down below what you think of the new champions, what do you think of their star powers, and what champion you are going to try to unlock and star up first. Also, we did just launch a Discord, so if you want to discuss all the new champions over there with a bunch of like-minded individuals, I'll put a link to that down in the description. Have a great day.